get to know that the vaccination of children is also going to.
Yes, very soon the vaccination will also start. So after this entire
For
summer
children
vacation,
also.
yes, for children also, this summer vacation, we have to now do some fruitful work. I'm eagerly waiting for your holiday homework. You can send it on my personal WhatsApp number. Things will be okay. You're going to your classes very soon, or everything will be okay. I decided to explain the chapter 100 dresses after this vacation, the very interesting and a very sensitive story which now we are going to deal. Actually, this entire story is written in a form of a book, a complete novel, where the writer, who was actually a librarian, she used to, or she used to observe, activity of teenage children in high schools, in middle school. Now this story is all about the behavior. You are going to peep in the human psychology. Especially it is good for teenage students, for you children. Now,
Ma'am,
why it is about 100 dresses? Yes, yes, ma'am, we broadcast your holiday homework or present you in class by screen sharing. If it will be very nice, Harsh, then I'm definitely going to show it during classes. Okay. Actually, this story is, you can say, एक बहुत simple बात तुम लोग कह सकते हो. It's a sensitive story. You can piece of literature, especially if for the contemporary generation, means you people, the teenagers today. What you do. It is essential for you to install, or you can say to inculcate some virtues in your character, like appreciation, sensitivity, empathy, forgiveness. So when you will go through this story, then you will definitely have some life skills in your personality also. And this book is actually an Oscar winning book, which will give you the entire book. Obviously, the story has been summarized, but when you will go through the story, then you will know the value. You will definitely know that what the writer wants to present through these stories. Three characters: Maddie, Madeline, Peggy, and Wanda Petronsky. You will see that throughout the story, how these three characters will grow. Wanda, who is a passive character in the entire story, she will never come in front of you, but definitely the entire story will revolve around her. Then we have two different characters, two best friends. One is Peggy, and another one is Madeline. But if you ask me who is your favorite character, I will always say Maddie, because she grows with the story from a very normal girl, you can say insensitive girl, how she transformed her personality to a most compassionate and emotional girl. That is great. This two, this story is written in two part, 200 dresses, 100 dresses two. But you will definitely enjoy, because this is not only the story, it will also, as I told you, it will give you an idea that how you people, this generation, need to grow with all kind of life skills in themselves, in their personality. So through these three characters, one passive character, two active character, you are going to enjoy, you are going to learn various values. Okay, my dear children. So first of all, I would like to show you one animated small movie, which will also be an introductory. You can say an introduction for the story, but yeah, that it will simply tell you the storyline. But so it will be quite helpful for you that while going through the story, things will be more clear. So after this animated video, I'm going to start the story. So first you watch it. Okay. You will raise your hand when I will ask you all well. Okay. Screen visible? Sound clear? Please, children, raise your hand.
She is Peggy.
Okay.
She
Now
is the
enjoy
most
it.
popular girl in school.
Very small for 7 minutes
She is
only.
pretty. She has many pretty clothes and her hair is curly. Madeline is her closest friend. She is Wanda. Usually she sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. Wanda was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. She came all the way from Bogans Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours, at noontime when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3, or even more, would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. Then, sometimes, they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school, either. And none noticed her absence again. Wednesday, Peggy and Madeline, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud, noticed that Wanda wasn't there.
Why doesn't she attend the class these 3 days? I don't know.
They had waited and waited for Wanda to have some fun with her and she just hadn't come. Wanda Petronsky, the name which is difficult to say. Wanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. Even though she didn't have any friends, a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard.
Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. She'd say, "How many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet?" 100. 100. 100, all lined up. What are they like? All silk, I bet. All silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. All lined up in my closet.
Then they'd let her go. And then before she'd gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter.
100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Wanda had was the blue one she wore every day. Why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. All alike? Oh, no. Every pair is different, all colors. All lined up.
Peggy and Madeline were always the last to leave. Finally Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone.
Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda? Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person, else why did she have a name like that? Look. These questions never make her cry.
This business of asking Wanda every day, how many dresses and how many hats, and how many this and that, do you think that this is good?
Madeline wasn't as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. Maddie worked her arithmetic problems absent-mindedly.
I don't have a courage to say, "Hey, Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." I need to write a note to Peggy.
Maddie pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls.
Oh. No. She might ask me where I got the dress that I have on, because it was one of Peggy's old ones that my mother had tried to disguise with new trimmings so no one in room 13 would recognize it.
Drawing and coloring contest. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motor boats.
I'm damn sure, probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. Because Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room.
The next day, Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under the Peggy's umbrella.
Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winners today?
Oh, I hope so, the minute we get in. Of course, you will win, Peg.
Hope so.
The minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and windowsill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up. These must be the drawings for the contest. They were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly.
Listen guys, here is the list. Shall I announce the winners?
Yes, ma'am.
The winner is Jack Biggles. Let's give a big round of applause.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your design for an outboard motor was on exhibition in room 12 along with the sketches by all the other boys. One girl, and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs. All different and all beautiful. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I'm very happy to say that Wanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls' medal.
Wanda has been absent from school for some days and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her.
Look, Peg. There is that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful?
Yes, and here is that green one.
Thank you for watching this video.
So did you like the movie? Children? Okay, wonderful. So now you have an idea. Yes, Tanish, thank you. So now you have an idea that this story is all about three important characters as well as one very important message. Now you have only watched 100 Dresses Part 1. I will also, once we finish this part, then I will show you the next part. But before this, few things which I would like to tell you. So listen carefully, my dear children. Listen, this entire story is actually a novel. This, it's a children's book. You can say a complete novel. This novel, the writer is Eleanor Estates. And it's his Oscar winner also. This movie has been made. Basically, what is the moral of the story, if you ask me? The main theme of the story is about the act of forgiving someone's mistake that you will find out in second part. Because how Wanda forgives everyone. Although throughout the story, they used to bully her. Bullying, ragging. Ragging and bullying is a common problem. Thank God in our schools, we don't have this problem. First of all, the reason is that we have one sense of uniformity in Indian schools. What is that? That in all the schools in India, children, they have to wear uniform. Now, why uniform? What is the symbolism of uniform? Uniform. In order to bring uniformity in the entire school premises, that's why uniform is a very good decision taken by our government. In many more countries, this is the culture in schools that they are, wearing uniforms. But unfortunately, I don't know what is the basic reason. Still, in American schools, they don't wear uniforms. That is the tragedy. Now, what is happening? Children from different background, they are coming in their own civilian dresses, and that is very. So, what happens now? Since they belong to different background, someone belongs to a very rich family, someone belongs to a poor family. Now, through their dresses, their poverty, their backwardness is reflected, and what happens? They became an object of mockery in the classroom, which is actually not good. This is the message. This is also that one should be sympathetic. Why will you mock someone because of his poor dressing sense, or maybe because he is poor? This is not the good practice, but it is happening in most of the American schools because of uniform. There is no uniform in the school because of the dresses, their hairstyle, their makeup. Most of the bullying and ragging, it occurs just because of this. And thereafter comes names, funny names, which is a common practice even in our school, that if someone is having a funny name, then children will simply distort his name and they will start calling him something else. But the child who go through this entire thing, this entire bullying, this entire making fun of, if you start, then you can never imagine you can never imagine that even in our country, in some schools, these practices are very common. And how it is, I have seen specifically not schools, but in colleges, and how it is ruining the life of some children. So thank God that we have very little examples. And in our country, the rules are very strict. If you will bully someone, if ragging is there, then they are going to be strictly punished by the laws. So please be careful. Anyway, thank God we are taking proper care in our schools, and our children are very good. You people are very good. I don't know what, but as far as I know, so this is all about that. Now, before another moral also you will see that how characters are growing throughout the story. You will see the change not in Peggy's character, but specifically you will see in the character that is Madeline, Maggie. People generally ask that 100 Dresses is real story. Yes, it is a story based on true events. How? Because our author, she describes that she has witnessed a similar situation at her own elementary school where she was a librarian. And this happened when Maddie, she wrote a letter to her making amendments. Yes, I'm so sorry that I did not help Wanda. So then she decided to write a story based on this entire theme, the entire plot. Sorry. Okay. So you will simply go through, when you will go through this story, you will definitely be very happy. Now, before starting the story, I would also like to give you a little bit idea of this Polish American community, because the main character, who the entire story revolves around whom? Wanda Petronsky. Now, Wanda Petronsky, she is not an American girl. She is a Polish girl, Polish immigrant. So let us also come to know that what happened at the time of World War II, why these people, they were actually forced to leave their own country and to come to another country. You all know the situation was so bad in during World War II, and Germans, these Nazis, they were actually killing each and everyone. So everyone, these small European countries, they migrated to America in order to save their life. And Polish community is also one of them. So that also you need to know. And since they have, if you are living in your country, then maybe perhaps people will not make fun of you, specifically if you have a very peculiar name, a very peculiar Hindi name. But if that name, it exists in another country, maybe they will make fun of that. So that also you need to know a little bit of historical background. So now see, 1 minute. How do we judge the people around us? By their money, wealth, and possessions? Or is there something of more enduring value to look for in a person? How do you judge? Now it's up to you. As I told you, that don't judge anyone on the basis of his, money, on the basis of his status. You should always judge a person on the basis of his nature, his behavior. Okay. Now, this is actually a sensitive story of account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Wanda Petronsky, a young Polish girl who goes to school with other American children in an American town, a small American town, and they found Wanda different in many ways. As her name is peculiar, she used to wear limited dresses. Yes, good Hare Ram and Utkarsh. Hmm. Elementary school, the elementary, basic, junior school, you can also say, junior school. Hmm. And how they were treating her. That is very, so you will, when you will go through the story, then you will come to know that she is being mocked because of her peculiar name, Wanda Petronsky, and also because of her limited dress which she was wearing. Someone is trying to express, okay, very, maybe these problems you too have faced. Doesn't matter. These sometimes these bullying. Hmm. Okay, who is sharing his views? Hmm. Okay. What happened? You can send me a phone presentation. Hmm. Oh. So I'm going to read that this little bit about Polish American community in United States. See, the first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608, but the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century when more than 1 million Poles migrated to United States. The Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than to ethnicity, their own rules and traditions. They were identified as Russian Poles, German Poles, and Austrian Poles. One of the most notable Polish American communities is in Chicago. It's a very important city in America and its suburbs. So Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world, next only to Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Polish Americans were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians, and Jews. As I told you that when other people they migrate to some country in such a large number, they have to face many challenges. So when a good number, so you can simply see that millions of 1 million Poles, Poland, the Poles, they migrated. And you know what, why it happened? Just because of Germany. So when they came to Chicago, to different part of, specifically Chicago was the main center, they moved to the different part of America. They have to face different type of, racism, you can say, discrimination, different kind of discrimination. According to the United States 2000 census, 667,414 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home, which is about 1.4% of the people who speak languages other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. So good number. But still, the pathetic thing is that they are in very large number, but still they are being bullied, or you can say they have felt different type of problems, discrimination in a country like America. So one thing is clear now: Wanda Petronsky, she is a Polish girl, And Peggy and Madeline, they are American girl. Peggy is rich and pretty. Madeline is also good looking but not so rich. Now the entire story will revolve around these three girls. So now listen carefully. We have very little time left, but I will start the story now. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. Yeah, today is Monday. And the class started, the started, but oh, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, that you will know the entire story, what was the fun, what was the game, noticed her absence. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. Now, this room 13, it means the room where this class was taking place. Okay, Utkarsh. So, she sat in the corner. Now, which corner she was sitting? See, a particular corner. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Now remember, I think nowadays you cannot imagine once upon a time you two were in the same classroom where 40 children were sitting together. And you know that each and every class has a particular corner where most of the children, whoever will sit there, they will be the troublemakers, they will be the troublesome children of the class, naughty children of the class. And what will happen? That particular corner will be the most dirty corner and most talkative corner. No, or you can say most indisciplined children will sit there. They are neither good in studies, they are nor good in extracurricular work, they will even disturb the class, they will not participate in any academic activity. So every class has the same kind of thing. And this is the situation was similar in that room 13 also. It's Monday. Wanda is not present. Wanda Petronsky, she is not present. But nobody noticed. Who the hell will notice? Because her best friend, they did not also not noticed. And who is this best friend? So-called Peggy and Maddie. Now Wanda, she is an object of fun for the entire class. But unfortunately, when she was not present on Monday, Peggy and Madeline did not notice. Because now where Wanda used to sit, that is also very described in the line. Wanda generally used to sit in the corner of the classroom, which is not so academically brilliant and where most indisciplined children used to sit. It was that part of the classroom which was the dirtiest, but although Wanda was not like those boys, she was quiet girl, silent, but still she has got that particular place for herself. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. Yes. In fact, Wanda, it was not so that she was equally rough and noisy and indisciplined like other boys. But yeah, she got that place to sit. Nobody was sharing her seat with her. Rather, on the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. So basically, she's a very nice, humble girl, very quiet, who speak very little. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. In fact, she is not only quiet, but she is very submissive girl also. She not even laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of a smile, but that was all. So maybe sometimes, according to other girls, she makes a little funny face, but that was all. So why the Bible? But still, why she's getting such a place to sit? This is a question that we will discuss tomorrow. So keep on thinking about this story and think about